People were completely making fun of my hand, the way that it looks. Just this one guy, he had a big problem with me asking him to introduce himself. Looked me dead in the eyes and goes, "Do you know who I am?" I'm from West Belfast, and it can be quite a brutal place to grow up sometimes. Getting jumped for no reason and people saying things to you, grabbing your hand at a bus stop, playing like a trumpet. I'm so happy that you're doing this and that my child, who has the same hand as you, is going to grow up with somebody like you. And everybody's wanting to jump on and show that they're so inclusive, when in reality they're literally just doing it so that they can say they're inclusive rather than to actually practice what they preach.
How's it going, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Here's the Crack podcast. We're back after some time off, and we've got a guest in today.
Hiya.
She's back.
Back again, almost. You've doubled your episode since I was in here last time.
Doubled the episode. It's like a natural like alarm. It's just like it's time to get her back on again.
Yeah, and
Phone
like
her up.
70, it's like, where's India at?
I know. What's 70 after 140? 210. Quick maths.
Quick maths. Too long.
I love the way you look at me as if I'm fucking doing something.
Anyway, how are you?
Good, yeah. In a haze constantly. Like, I don't really know what's going on one day to the other, but yeah.
A lot has changed since the last time we talked to you. So obviously, if anybody wants to like get to know who you are, or kind of where you've came from and like your journey up until the last time we talked to you, go back and listen to episodes. It is episode 70, pretty sure. So if you want to hear all about that, go back, stop now, go back, and then come back, and we'll be fine. A lot to and fro. But since we last spoke to you, there's been a lot's happened.
Yeah.
You've entered the world of TV. You've passed your driving test.
Yes. I know, I'm actually like probably more excited about the driving test.
Yeah,
as bad as that is.
Shay was saying that was something you said on the last episode.
I remember you saying that. I think we'd asked you what's the next goal, and you had said passing your driving test, and then we'd asked you about like.
And that was 18 months ago, and I only just passed it 3 days ago. Yeah, and it was such a, honestly, there's that many things. I actually felt like something in the world was telling me like, you're not supposed to drive, because it just felt like after every hurdle there was another one and another one, and it was just a nightmare. Like,
yeah. What sort of hurdles do you have to get over? Any hurdles to drive, or is it just you just crack on, or is it just the fact that you've been so busy it's been hard to? Yeah,
well, I think lots of things. Like, I think for anybody trying to learn to pass their test, like whether you've got full phalanges or not, I think it's like there's a lot of things there, and it's so much money. And the driving test the driving lesson costs are now like 40 quid. Like whenever I first started learning, they were 20.
I couldn't afford to drive now.
Like,
learn to drive.
So bad. And then you're waiting 6 months on your test, like once you book it and all.
Yeah.
How do they expect students to pay for that? Like people in high school?
What was it back? Was it even 20 quid?
I think it's 20, 15 quid.
Mine was like 20 quid for half an hour or something.
That's mad though.
Yeah. But like you imagine like because it's all through DVLA, innit?
Yeah.
So you even imagine booking an MOT at the minute. It's like getting an MOT dates like hen's teeth. And I think the same people who do MOTs do driving tests as well.
Like,
yeah. But you passed your test in Ballymena?
I did, yes.
What did you say when you came in here?
About
Ballymena?
It's a shithole.
Because like none of you are from Ballymena, are you? And I was like, yeah, them too.
I was like, oops.
I thought I heard that whenever you walked in. You were like, Ballymena's a shithole, and I was like, excuse me.
Do you like feel loyalty to Ballymena?
No, not particular. I'm not that bad. I will say Ballymena for driving. Now, to be fair, if you're from Ballymena, I think you get used to it because there's so many roundabouts. Ballymena is the one place where I say you go round a roundabout to go round another roundabout, if that makes sense.
They're on top of each other.
Yeah, and it's really weird, but I think now I'm used to it. It just becomes second nature. But I can imagine
probably one of the most difficult places to do your driving test in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Well, I failed my first one in Downpatrick. Like, it was actually a lovely place. I had a lovely instructor, but he marked me way worse than the girl who took me in Ballymena. So as much as it is a shithole, like, I'm grateful for it existing because I passed my test there.
My driving instructor, to be fair, marked me as like a minor for speeding, and I think I was considerably over like the limit. I can neither confirm nor deny it, just in case. But I think your guy. He goes, "Oh, do you know where I marked you down on?" And I went, "Yeah, I think it was on here." And he goes, "Well, not be me that getting the speeding tickets. So I'll just give you a minor." And I was like, "That's what I need."
But that's dead on.
Chill.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like that's very like you did that wrong, just don't do it again.
Yeah.
It's not like a big prob.
Yeah, because they know for it's probably going to take.
Surely that's a major though. Like,
yeah, but
speeding.
During mine, I you know, they get you to pull into like a hard shoulder or something to
Yeah.
stop, and then like, you know, check your shoulder and pull out. I done that, and the next thing the car was beeping and beeping. Couldn't understand. He wouldn't tell me what it was, and I was like, "What's going on? What's going on?" I was panicking. I was like, "Can I pull in here just to check what this beeping is?"
Yes.
And he let me pull in. I was looking around the car, couldn't figure it out what it was. I left the handbrake up, and then he turned around to me and goes, "Yeah, your handbrake's up." So it took me about 10 minutes. I was driving about with
Shake us out of the car, no one pops the bonnet.
I was absolutely squandered. I was like, this is over. But I actually passed it then after
Yeah.
that, somehow.
Well, you noticed there was something going on, so it was probably like dead on.
Yeah, see, that's what I remember my driving
Yeah.
instructor saying. He was like, if you show that you know that you're doing wrong or
Yeah.
whatever,
Uh-huh.
they'll let you away with it. Like,
Yeah.
but lucky enough they did. Like,
So congratulations anyway.
Thank you.
And you've been driving for how long?
3 days.
3
and I
days.
just parallel parked around the corner on my own.
Magical. I can't describe the voice note we got like 10 minutes before us. You're like, I'm on my way. I've been parallel parking. But I was like, I wonder how this has went down. Because to be fair, sometimes I cock up a parallel park. You can never.
I'm just terrified of hitting somebody else's car. Like,
Yeah.
then having somebody out shouting at me. I will cry.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're supposed to do in that scenario. Like,
Yeah.
do I call it?
drive
on.
You're in me, like,
just drive.
Just depends. If it's a wee glance or something, you'd be fine. Just rock on. They'll never notice it. But well, like you did a video on like you're like
Yeah.
doing your driving test and stuff, and there was
Yeah.
like you were saying there was a lot of comments
oh
on
my
it.
god. So I had never, right, so it had been like I had gotten used to my platform and my audience and the things that people would say to me, so I was kind of just in this consistent wee pattern of the odd negative comment or ignorant comment, and most of them being really supportive and stuff and really nice to me. Then I uploaded this one video of me showing the things that I do in the car that people would maybe doubt I can do because of my hand. So like the handbrake, the gearbox, and indicating, anything like that. And I just recorded each of those wee things, uploaded it in like a really quick video, and the comment section was brutal. Like
Right.
brutal. Like everybody was properly like, people were making out that I would be a danger on the road because I've got one hand. People were completely making fun of my hand, the way that it looks.
Right.
Like I do recommend, it is an interesting read. If you're ever sitting up late at night and you want something to do, read that comment section. There is a whole different type of human attracted to
Yeah.
that video.
Because I suppose from they're like from a normal person's like perspective, they're probably looking at it and going like, it's fine. Like I don't think I would ever go, surely you can't drive.
Yeah.
Like
There's curiosity there. Like,
yeah.
I understand that. People
Yeah.
will be like, oh, I wonder how she does do that. And that's fine. I don't see
Yeah.
any issue with that. Like, but it's why does what it looks like have anything to do with what this video was? Like, I
Yeah.
know there's stuff missing. I know it looks like I know it looks like a monster munch. I know, it's just, why did you comment that?
the car scene just jumped on. They didn't show up. Like, but
Yeah, no.
it's one of them things though that I think it probably with talking about a car or something, do you think it like reached a completely different audience?
Oh yes, more male.
All the boys in the
There's
porch.
the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there was a few, to be fair, that was like a girl that can drive stick. Like you almost read it in an American accent because you knew it was an American saying driving stick.
Yeah.
I was like, a girl can drive stick, and I was like, oh my god, like yeah, yeah, I can drive stick.
Oh my word, like.
Yeah.
But you've survived 3 days anyway, so
Yes.
you're fine, like.
Yes, yeah, a few near misses, but
A few near glances.
yeah, but
say
it wasn't
no
my
more.
fault. It was a wee
Yeah.
old man, and I was thinking I'll not beep him because what if like something bad's happened? I don't know. Did his wife die or something? I don't know, because it was like a wee
Yeah.
old man. So then I was like, I'll not crack up because he went right or roundabout, and I was like,
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah,
The
and
wrong
nearly
way
went
around
to the
it.
side of me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like,
To be fair, I have seen people go around the wrong way around a roundabout in Ballymena before. I think it is.
It was
quite
in Ballymena?
common. Was it?
bloody Ballymena.
There you go.
Yes.
Shithole.
Damn it. I remember the time whenever you come up for like the first time and you were like, bro, I have no idea where I am. I don't know. Like even
roundabout.
if you have the sat nav on, you're unaware of where it's taking you.
Yeah.
Like I've been driving around Armagh before, and I kind of know. I'm like, right, the sat nav will keep me right here. But when you're driving around Ballymena, most people seem to say, I still don't know where it's taking me.
Yeah.
There's different wee side streets and stuff, but
Yeah.
you'll get used to it.
I'm not going back. Why would I? I've passed with his. There's no reason.
MOT, you might have to go back for MOT or something. You never know.
True. I hope not.
Imagine
but-
you go back to the DVLA Centre and they're like, we've been listening to that Here's the Crack podcast and we're not happy. One damn bit. Get
No,
out.
the wee woman, like, she'll be weird to see me back because I said the weirdest thing to her. She said I'd passed my test. She was like, congratulations, you've passed your test on this occasion. I went, shut up. She was like, no, you did really well. And I was like, no, shut your face. Are you serious? And she was like, yeah, you did really well. Like, do you not feel like you drove really well? And I was like, well, I'm not going to say no because you've just told me that I've passed. But can I just say as well, your voice is so soothing. You could be a voice artist. Like, you really kept me calm during that test. And she was looking at me like I had two heads. She really, because you know when you're in that mode where it's just like, I can't believe I just put
Yeah.
a test.
She's probably sitting, look, you've passed the test. You don't have to
Yeah.
sweep me
Yeah.
up anymore. Like, get out.
You pure slipping her £25 notes and all. She's like, I've told you passed. Just get out. Like. But that's a brilliant achievement
Thank
for
you.
anybody.
Yeah.
Brilliant achievement. But you've been obviously at other stuff as well.
Yes.
You're dabbling in presenting
Yes.
TV.
And it is interesting.
How has that world been?
It's been good. Like, I like being in that sort of environment. You're almost like in the center of these things that you're used to seeing on TV. Like, you're in a whole different environment and you're around people who are like, it is definitely a whole new type of imposter syndrome, like celebrities, like pure celebrities, like in movie celebrities.
Yeah.
But it's been really good. I've only had one bad experience so far, so I'm hoping that it just stays at one.
Let's start there, please.
I'll not say his name. I'll tell you after. Like a wee secret.
Yeah.
Everybody on this podcast can try and guess if they want. You just share it and get
Just have
this.
to pay $5 to Patreon.
But there was this guy on the Irish Film and TV Awards red carpet. I was presenting for the IFTAs and TikTok. It was like a collaboration they were doing. So I was live on their pages and I had all these different celebrities, and it was almost like they were like maybe a list of 200 people. And as much as I know what's going on in the world, there's no way I'm going to remember 200 people's names.
Yeah, fair.
So the kind of just like thing that we were doing was just get everybody to say their name and what they're nominated for, because obviously it's an award show, and then that could start the rapport to like chat about the show or the TV program or film or whatever. So there was this one guy that came up and I did the same thing. I'd already done 50 people and everybody was fine. Just this one guy, he had a big problem with me asking him to introduce himself. He said, he literally looked me dead in the eyes, and I thought this wasn't a real scenario that happens in real life. Looked me dead in the eyes and goes, "Do you know who I am?"
Oh my god.
And I was like, I laughed it off because I thought maybe this is like a do you know, presenter skills, just keep moving, just keep going. And I was like, I'm just asking everybody to introduce themselves just for the followers and watchers online and stuff. And he's going, followers? What, who's followers? And I was like, well, it's mine and TikToks and IFTAs. And he goes, nobody told me this. Then he walked off the screen and then walked back in. He goes, tell me my name. And I went, I just went meltdown.
Serious?
Yeah.
You humbled him.
Oh, well, do you know what? I'm glad if I hope it did knock him down a notch, because I don't care who you are. You could be Beyonce. It's nice to introduce yourself, especially whenever it's on a platform like TikTok. And this guy was a wee bit older, but TikTok's a lot younger. So a lot of maybe 13, 14, 15-year-olds, these will be the first time that they're seeing these people. So it's given them an opportunity to reach this audience. And he completely squandered it. He completely ruined it. Everybody was raging in the live. They were like, who does he think he is?
So people would have seen that, like.
Oh yeah, and I have it saved.
That's
You should have been like, do you know who I am? And if he'd have said no, I'd be like, well, what are you going to do, like?
I didn't.
You don't know my world,
In
so
the
why
moment,
do you expect me to know your
You
world?
should have been like, let us know in the comments. who it
Yeah,
is.
Guys, sad react to the comments. Let's blow his page up. Just get cancelled in the morning.
Yeah, oh no, it was traumatic. Like, so I'm raging that it wasn't something that was like you can go watch back after. I had to be the only person that downloaded it, and I wouldn't want to make enemies in the TV world at like my early career stage. So
Definitely not.
no, I don't want to do that. But like, he's a big figure, so
Is he big, like?
yeah, like
Can't wait-
America.
can't
big.
wait
You
to
do,
find out who it is.
realise as soon as we hit, Tommy's probably going to be like, we'll wrap this up early. I'd be like, who was that person?
I reckon you don't know who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was your like favourite ones from that one, like red carpet you done?
Do you know the TV shows that came out in Apple TV, Bad Sisters?
Yeah,
They were great.
all of them.
Yeah,
They're-
all of them, and they were all the
That's
best
class.
crack. You could tell they had a few drinks before coming.
Oh, that's sick.
Oh,
And that's just
like-
the best vibes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like party vibes before anybody even gets in the
they're-
door.
When they're actually excited to be there.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that's
and they're
sick.
being nice and introducing
Yeah.
themselves.
You'd have been jealous, Orange. She met, was it Brendan Gleeson?
Yes,
Brendan Gleeson.
yeah.
Orange, a big Brendan Gleeson in Bruges, all that there.
That's sick.
Because I seen that, I was like, Orange's going to be raging.
Did you not? I could be wrong. Did you interview Patrick Kilty before he got the Late Late Show on, or maybe it was his wife he interviewed, Kat Daly? Was it? I could be completely talking shit.
See, again, I can't remember names here, but I think that sounds really familiar. It might have been. There was like a lot of people there. It was, the whole thing's a blur. Like I was there for 2 hours on live, and it felt like 5 minutes. Like I flew in. Don't know what I said. Probably made in Egypt.
Was there anyone you interviewed that you were like proper starstruck? You couldn't speak or anything?
Yeah, the nun from Diary Girls.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I can't even remember her real name.
She's good crack.
She
I've
is.
heard, yeah.
Oh, she was great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I seen her even because I was in this like really unique position where I was part of the press pool. Like, so we were
Yeah.
outside the red carpet and stuff, but I was also allowed in. Like, I was the only one that was on the red carpet interviewing people that was also in the actual event itself.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Like seeing the awards and stuff. So when I was inside, I was like, and I snuck my mummy in as well. I don't know if I should be saying that.
Yeah.
I snuck my mummy into the
That's fine.
office. But me and my mummy went up to her and was talking away to her, and she was great. Like, she's lovely, so nice,
Yeah.
like friendly. Could have been somebody you just bumped into in the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome though.
Yeah.
But like, was that that wasn't your first time doing presenting, or was it?
Wasn't my first time doing presenting, but it was my first time presenting in that sort of scenario where you've got an endless line
high profile type
celebrities,
thing,
constantly coming, and it's non-stop for 2 hours and live. Everything that could have been stressful was on that red carpet, but it was great. Like,
and do you find, like, obviously because the majority of what you do is obviously online, so it's like phone, it's probably 99% of the time it's just you.
Yes.
When then to go from like you to then because I know even absolutely nothing to do with like presenting, but we did a thing with a brand and we were like interviewing people out in Belfast.
Yes.
And it was like, you kind of were like, that's grand, we can talk into a mic.
Yeah.
But then whenever it actually happened, you're like, this is a lot harder.
It's the approaching
Yeah.
people that's sort of daunting. Like, rejection's scary.
Oh yeah.
But like, it's probably a good thing that you had the negative interaction with that particular person, because it's probably prepared you for next time it happens. Like, how would you react
I would change it
differently?
slightly. I would have a bit more confidence to say, look, I'm sorry. I've got I did. I said, I'm sorry, I've got that many people. We're just doing this. Everybody introduce themselves and stuff. I don't even know how I would do it different, to be honest. I think it's not my problem, it's his problem.
And what is all
So,
fuck off?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, shoot me in the
IFTA
moment.
is
But
not going to be employing you anytime soon.
Oh no.
Do you know who I am? No.
Do you know who
Do
you
know
are?
who I am?
What's your fucking name, please? Thanks.
yeah.
My second question is, who gives a shit? And they're like, what the But that's pretty cool. Like, in terms of who was like, who's been like the most, obviously you were saying about the red carpet type thing, but like, who's been the person who you have met in like your journey since obviously we last spoke, where you've been like, or have you worked with anybody that you're actually like,
Well,
this is
obviously
weird.
there's GK Barry, like the GK Barry, like working with her. That was weird because I was just walking into this room with a girl who was doing the same thing that I was doing. We were employed in the same kind of level, and that was just insane to me. It was like bringing in me and Elon Musk to a car show. I felt like so, do you know what I mean? Like out of imposter syndrome fully.
Yeah.
But once you get speaking to her and her manager, they were so nice. Like the both of them were really great and made me sort of like feel like, oh, it's dead on. And that campaign did really, really well as well.
Yeah.
So
That's for Channel 4. What?
yes, I've worked with Channel 4 a few times, but this is like the had GK Barry one. I was like nervous and stuff, but it was fun. It was good.
How does stuff like that come about? Because obviously, like last time we were speaking to you, did you have a manager the last time we were speaking to you? No. So like, how is this? Like, have you noticed like since all this has progressed, like, has there been like a level of like you've had to mature alongside it, where it's like this is like it's proper? Like, it seems proper now.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Like, I think it's not that much of a serious job. So there's not like huge. There is a bit of pressure, like to perform whenever you're to go on for a job or to do something, and like presenting if it's something you've not done before, like you have to sort of, because if you want more jobs you have to do well in that job. It's like a constant stream of things, so that's on my mind. But having a manager has made it easier to manage the admin side of things 100%. And like beforehand I would get jobs reaching out to myself, and then now with the manager they'll maybe reach out to me and I'll just divert them to him, and then he'll get me jobs as well. So it's kind of like two streams of finding people like to work with and things. So it's made it easier, but it's more serious. Like I have like a wee like group chat and stuff where I'll get messages from the manager who'll be like, you need to do this, or this is coming up, and wee reminders, and he can manage my calendar and stuff. Like it's
surreal. Like,
it feels real. Like it feels like a real job now.
Would you say it's give you more time to do your own personal stuff in your own time, or do you think you're just more busy now than ever?
Yes and no, because I'm spending less time doing all the things that was keeping me like just doing all the boring stuff, like the admin stuff and the email stuff. So there was a lot of time spent that before, and it was sort of draining the life out of me. But now that I'm not actively doing my own admin stuff at the same time, I'm almost feeling like I'm not doing enough constantly. Like I feel like I'm not going out there and doing things to try and get more work or work with more brands or making just content in general, just posting stuff. Like I've been, from the last time here, like I haven't been posting as frequently as I used to, And I don't know if that's because it feels more like a job now, or if like, I don't know, because I used to have so much balls, like I really did, like my huge balls just to walk up to people and to do things and just make an agent out of myself. And now, because I think people already know me, I'm scared of like ruining that. Do you know what I don't want to mess it up now.
Do you feel like a pressure about like your sort of, I suppose, your image, like people sort of know you if you say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing?
100%, because it's not even just about not offending people, but it's also about, I have to be brand friendly. Like if this is going to be my job, I have to think about it in a very entrepreneurial way. Like I have to be able to be working with brands. Like I was invited, since it was last year, I went to Disneyland twice, invited by Disney. And if I hadn't been so cautious about the language I use or what I do and the content I make, or even where I make it, then I wouldn't have got that opportunity to do that.
I find that so interesting. Like I think even like in terms of like footballers and stuff, like the pressure, like even like YouTube channels, like the difference in like the content, like Adam B, for example, like you know, from him, his content's so clean, like the brand deals he can get compared to other people. But like, do you even worry, like say you're on a night out or something, like people videoing and shit, do you ever think, fuck it can't be too, do you know what I mean?
See, if I'm being completely honest, I know that even when I'm on a night out, I might do things that I wouldn't record myself and upload, but I don't do anything that's like necessarily wrong. So if anybody recorded me doing something stupid, it's just like, so like it's not my problem. Like I can't control everything. Like I'm just gonna have fun. I am a bit of an idiot on a night out too. I could maybe have like my Kim K moment where something gets leaked, not like that level, not like a pure like sex or anything, but like just, I don't know, a bit of tea, like
that one. I suppose though, like you obviously have your own like style of content. I wouldn't necessarily say you've ever have you ever like posed as if your content's like child friendly, if that makes sense. Like I don't really think I've ever seen anything from you that you're going down that, whereas Adam B, for example, is very like,
I know, I'm not saying the content's the same. I'm just using that as an example of like someone who clearly thinks about it. Like he's put a lot of thought into the content he puts out. Like
it's really hard, like, because you're multitasking, trying to reach a large group of people. So obviously, the more that applies to, the better it'll do. So if it reaches a larger age range, then you're going to have a better performance, and that's better for your work and everything. But then if you focus up too much on kids, then you're turning off those people from your content type thing. So it is kind of like multitasking, trying to make something that doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong for brands, but also being appealing to like people our age type thing.
You must get a pile of requests from brands that are just like ridiculous. Like
there's some things that end up in my message. Like there's so many wax melt companies that like, not companies, people like working out of living rooms and all that are like, if I send you one packet of wax melts, will you make me a TikTok or reel a post and put me on your stories? And it's like,
what do you mean wax melt?
Yeah, do you know what
I actually thought that was a name for like a shitty like advertising company that's come to you.
Wax melts.
Wax melts.
No, it's like, I get,
do you literally mean wax melt companies?
Yeah, like so, like not even companies, like just wee people and like doing things like that, which is fine. Like, but I can't do that. Like I couldn't do that for every single person that wants me to advertise. And I wouldn't have a platform then. It would completely be like just ad. And then I get like random messages from huge companies. Like the email about IFTAs just randomly came through on a random day. I just went into my emails, it came through to me, not my manager, and I was like, holy shit, they want me to present the IFTAs. Or like the British Fashion Awards, I was invited to that on the red carpet, and oh my god, it was insane. Like it was just, it's a range that I get.
Have you ever missed anything in your emails, like, and actually missed something that you're like, fuck?
Yes, a few times. That's why I needed a manager so much, because I was missing things. Because whenever your emails are stressful, you're not going to go in them as often as you probably should.
As like in terms of like, because in terms of like hire, like the manager process, do they come to you or do you have to like outreach? Because one thing I think I'd find very weird, and we're obviously never like, we're not even touching like the level that you're at, but like handing off the responsibility of someone to like manage your calendar or like reply to emails on your behalf, because he or she also represents as you essentially. So it's like trusting someone to have that responsibility to go, they're not going to cock up on my behalf must be quite.
Well, my manager is called Valdi, right? And he's great. I met him a few years ago well, not years, maybe like a year and a half before he actually started managing me. And did I tell you about that trip I took like a couple of years back, or did the trapeze thing? Like I had to hold on to the bar and go way up above the water and all in Greece. Like I was brought on this like PR trip to Greece.
No.
I don't
Well,
think so, no.
there was that trip, and Valdi was one of the ones that organised that trip for all these influencers and stuff. Met him on that, stayed in contact with him because we just kind of like got on really well and got to know him and spoke to him a wee bit more over the while. And he knew I wasn't happy with, I was with this like non-competitive kind of modelling agency, talent managing company where I could do my own stuff, but they would get me like extra stuff if it came in. They never did. They were awful. But he was like, you're not happy, so I'm letting you know that I'm now working for this company. We are open to managing new talent, just in case you're interested. And I was like, oh yeah, 100%. Like I know you, I like you, I like how whenever he was on that trip I seen how productive he was and proactive and friendly. And every single time I've had feedback from brands and things, they've always said how great he is because he responds like that. Like he's on the ball, he's very professional, and I can have good crack with him at the same time. Like he sends me like memes and stuff. I send him videos when he's drunk at a bar. Like it's just the best kind of professional kind of relationship.
Because you actually know him.
Yeah.
That's good. But like in terms of obviously since we last spoke, like the presenting side of things, you said you want to get into a little bit more TV. Whenever you say TV, like what does that, do you want to do acting? Do you want to?
Yes. Well, I do want to do acting. I do. I'm a drama queen. I worked out, I know how to make myself cry, like on cue. If I play this song, it's the song that goes, I am lost. Do you know that one? That one?
Dark one, yeah.
If I listen
Do you
to
have
that
to
song,
play it, or do you have to like play it in your head?
I could probably do both. I
In
haven't
a
tried
TV show here. Just stick that on there.
me and EastEnders.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
we need you to sob. Playlist.
Literally, like I discovered that skill and I was like, and I've always wanted to do acting. Like I used to push it off before I did TikTok because I thought, how they're going to write my hand into the script. I thought that was going to be something that people just wouldn't want to address.
Yeah.
So I kind of ruled it out as something that I couldn't do. Then I did TikTok. Then I realised, oh my God, like people want to like be inclusive now. Like I've got this thing and I'm like, that's what I wanted to do anyway. So I thought that it'd be something I could get into still. So it's something that I would love to get into. And then presenting TV wise, I would love to do, there's a couple of shows I would love to do. Like I told you last time, I definitely did, I think, about I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Really want to do that. Would love to do Big Brother now that's back on.
Yeah.
That would be good crack. Don't know how I would.
Has anyone watched this?
No, I haven't seen it yet. No.
Is
It
it
started there the other day.
Did it?
Yeah.
Big Brother?
Sunday, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, I didn't see anybody that went in that looked like they would be like. Do you remember Nikki who went in, or Katie Hopkins? Like people who look like they'll bring the tea.
Yeah.
I want that
You
type
could
of
still
Big
get
Brother.
called up, eh? It's only
That could be
started.
you.
Get the close
I-
out
Holly Willoughby's just stepped down and
this morning.
this morning.
Oh.
So
Get your manager.
Imagine she goes
Honest.
in.
yeah, I'm more meaning
And
you
then
could.
you
Oh,
go
fill
in.
in for
Yeah.
Holly.
For her,
Oh no,
yeah.
that's big shoes to fill. Maybe,
I know, but
you never know.
you'll be
Like,
fine.
yeah,
Crack
okay.
on.
you text your manager tonight, just like any word in that.
Valdi, Holly's not working. The hell am I can fill in? But-
Call me up. That would be good.
well, I actually have been brought in as cover before for Radio 1. That happened,
Yeah,
which was huge.
that's big.
That's
Yeah.
mental.
And that started with, that brought me in to like present a podcast.
Yeah.
And the girl that was on opposite me, Katie, was like, you're really good at this. Like she was like a big sis, like in the studio. It was just great to have that calm in person. And then whenever it came to somebody was off, she was like, do you want to come in and like maybe like fill in his cover? And I was like, yes, absolutely. So I went over and I did Radio 1 on a Sunday. Which,
What was that like?
class, like there was like people, the studio had a big glass wall, so there's people like walking out in the street and all like waving into the studio, and then to see how many things go on behind the scenes at Radio 1, like the computer thing with like 3 different screens. Some are comments coming in and questions and requests, and you've got the lineup and then your script, and then Katie's over there doing like all the fading in, fading out stuff. Like I was sitting there just, where's my lines, just trying to stay focused.
Did you enjoy doing that?
I did, yeah. I was really paranoid to not lisp and to talk slowly. Like I was really trying to, because you know our accent, especially me, I'm West Belfast. I'm a kind of calm West Belfast. I feel like I'm not really broad. But still for like everybody, I needed to calm the accent down. So I was trying not to say anything wrong too. I was thinking, right, that's coming up, right, I can't say that. I was thinking about the things I can't say before the things I should say.
Even like if you watched the new series of Sex Education,
I haven't watched it yet.
there's a girl from here on it. But to hear it like out of the blue, like to hear like a Northern Ireland accent, like a Belfast accent, but like
She's from Derry, is she?
yeah, I think like Lucinda was saying, because we were watching it the other
Derry's
night.
getting everything here.
Oh no, fuck's sake.
It's not fair.
Where's the Belfast girls?
But like Lucinda was even saying it was weird because like little things, like she was like, "Oh, Otis, come in and take a wee seat."
Yeah.
And Lucinda was like, this is weird to like hear this on, but then I suppose
You could tell it
it's-
was like an authentic accent.
Yeah.
Though,
I'm O. Come in and take a wee seat.
Do you not think as well though, whenever you hear our accent, because we know what people sound like and stuff, it almost feels like they're not like acting properly.
Yeah.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
Like it just feels like it's not meant to. Like, are they acting? Like,
Have you watched Blue Lights?
no.
It's a series over here. It's like proper. It's based on over here.
Yeah. It's a
but
serious
there's-
one
it-
too.
It's yeah, it's about like the police and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's a guy on it, and he's just like, whenever you hear it, there is sometimes where you kind of get used to it after a wee while. But then there's a bit in it where he's like, Jerry, are you alive? You're like, what the? Like, this shouldn't just be. It feels like it shouldn't be on TV.
Yeah.
But then I suppose, I don't know, English people probably listen to their own accents and maybe think the same thing if you hear like a Scouse accent or something on.
Yeah, Scouse, yeah.
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 'Cause
Because you always
obviously-
hear the London accent. That's what something you're used to hearing.
Yeah.
Or like American. So like the other
Yeah.
accents are just kind of like, ew.
Yeah.
Well, not ew, but.
Ballymenones.
Here, do you think you sound like a Ballymena person?
I don't think I do, but people tell me I do. Like, there's a guy in work, and every time I address
He's
you,
nodding. He's like,
I
yeah.
go Orn, and he's like Orn, and I'm like, I don't think I sound like that.
You're not stereotypical Ballymena. I wouldn't say like
wouldn't
from
say so, no.
before we met someone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say,
Luck.
because I knew Orn whenever I was younger, and then you went to Manchester, and I noticed whenever you came back from Manchester, you had a little bit more of like a what I would say would be like a Belfast accent.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the blue, and I don't know whether you like adapted that when you were over there, because but
He's
then
ashamed of who he was.
but like I think the same, like if I'm on meetings, like we have an office in England,
Mm-hmm.
and I know whenever I'm talking to people from England, they're like I feel the need to address it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, just to make you aware, like you may get a little bit confused. I'm from Ireland, like my
Yeah.
accent may throw you off.
Uh-huh.
Just tell me to repeat myself, and they're like, oh no, we love the accent. You're like, right.
Yeah,
Okay,
they like
I don't-
listening to you, but they don't
Yeah.
really know what you're saying.
But
I try and do the BT9 accent whenever when you're
Hello,
speaking to
bro.
someone from like, from England. I feel like it's the easiest Irish accent to understand. Like,
It is. I
when
think
you're
it
when
is.
you're presenting TV,
what is it?
are you presenting TV or something?
Hello, everybody.
Probably,
Welcome
at
to
the
BBC
show
One.
this weekend. We'll go and see him and be like, fucking who the fuck's this guy?
You're doing like
It's pronounced shit.
But like in terms that you've said you want to do like acting and stuff, but
Mm.
obviously the stuff you've described there would be more like presenting. But if you were to
Yes.
get like an acting role,
Yes.
what have you done any acting roles, or would
No, so I did when I was younger.
Right.
Like I did like theatre type thing
Yeah.
whenever I was younger, like the Rainbow Factory and all, like two of them ins there.
Yeah.
I did that, and I went to Stagecoach, and they did like acting, singing, dancing. I think it
Yeah.
was that they did that. Like I loved performing.
Yeah.
It was only when I got a bit older that I got really self-conscious that I just stopped. But like the natural progression just from doing TikTok and being myself has just been going into presenting and stuff, because obviously I have that proved and tested application to being able to speak to people and make it sort of camera friendly. Like I have that CV basically from my TikTok, so that's just kind of why that's went so fast. I think it's just kind of picked up.
Yeah.
Whereas with acting, it's like, well, what, I don't even know what do you do? What do you do?
Where do you start?
You just knock on the door of a studio and be like, hiya.
what would you want to do? Like what sort of TV show would you like to be on?
A
'Cause they're fil-
Belfast Girls or
They're,
something like
they're
that.
filming. They're
Make a
filming
TV
like they're
show.
filming like what's it called? What do you call the girl? She's a TikToker. She's from over here, but she's got an acting role for something over here. It's like Hope Street or something.
Abby.
Yes.
Abby. Yes. I had to DM her. Abby.
Yeah.
How did you do
remember
that?
Like there is stuff I think like there is stuff over. They're probably filming more stuff over here with like. Just go for
But
it.
they said there was going to be some sort of, from the same writers of Dairy Girls, there's going to be some Belfast version about like older selves and younger selves or something. I think there was something.
Right.
But then I couldn't do that, because then the older self would have to have the same hand as I have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, right now.
That's where my brain instantly goes. But I should probably be more proactive in the looking into that sort of avenue if I want to go down into it, because I haven't really been, and I know I haven't been, so I can't really complain about the fact it's gotten nowhere, because I haven't started that thing going down there yet.
Have you got any like really good advice from like anyone in the industry, from like meeting people? Has anyone said anything that's proper stuck with you?
With regards to like acting,
Just acting or presenting even.
well, presenting, I don't know. Anything that I've been told from people is just it's very much the same thing you'd say if you're going on to an interview, like, or a job interview. It's just stay calm, be yourself, don't panic. Like, you'll be more stressed out, and once you hear it back, you'll realise like it wasn't that big of a deal. Like if you messed up, nobody else will notice, type thing. And just go with the flow and just keep going, like just keep the ball rolling. It's just been those types of things of advice, and they've been good. I think the best thing it's actually helped me with the presenting is just being around people that are really chill. Like if I'm around somebody that's just like, oh, it's not a big deal, like I'm like, great, like then I perform better as if it was a big deal, because I'm just like chill. I'm best whenever I'm just pretend like I don't care, like that type of scenario.
Did you sort of, because I feel like from the outside looking in, you sort of think, oh, once you get into that space, you like there's this big like secret or something. Like, did you feel like that though?
What, like the Illuminati or something?
I just mean like
You can't talk about that.
it's weird seeing all these people online and on TV, and you're sort of like, fuck, I wonder what they'd be like. You feel like you'd get so much from meeting these people, if you know what I mean, like learn so much. Whereas it,
I think,
was it weird for you when you sort of started doing that stuff? Did you have like a higher expectation, or like expect it to be different even?
I feel like we all have this image of things because we don't see that behind the scenes things, so then things go through your head and you kind of picture it one way or another. But like I feel like most people that do it, it has just like sort of an opportunities came up and they've just ended up with it, and then they're going well and it just rolls into the next thing and the next thing. It's like a whirlwind, like you just get sucked into it and then all of a sudden it's normal. Like there's never like this breaking point. Well, for me there hasn't been like this breaking point where it's like, oh my god, it's just like one thing and then the next big thing and then bigger and then bigger, and then it's just kind of progression.
I think the Olivia Neal thing's mad. I was actually going to bring this up on a solo podcast.
Wait, what's the
but,
Olivia Neal thing?
I just think like
her
just
thing?
her doing like a scene she done like I know she does massive campaigns, but I just seen like the boss ads she was doing recently. I was just thinking like 5 years ago you were just making TikToks in Belfast, and now you're fucking like a global superstar or whatever. Like it's
and
mental.
that's like the tube girl that's going on right now as well.
Yeah.
She started making TikToks, and within a month, like it's been a month, and she was like at Valentino and invited to Paris Fashion Week, and has been making TikToks with is it Penn Badgley, him out of You, do you know, like the TV show You, and Florence Pugh. Like she's been just with all these like mega celebrities because she started making TikToks on a tube.
It's crazy.
Just like
you're a TikTok ambassador, aren't you?
yes,
What's that
Ireland's
entail?
ambassador. So I've got a couple of opportunities that have sort of entailed me being the Ireland ambassador at the events. Like I was at Eurovision and I was doing stuff with them for that.
Aaron would be jealous of that.
I know your head just turned like.
Yeah, you love Eurovision.
It was great. Like it was unreal. You should have been there. Were you there?
Yeah, I was there.
Oh really?
Were you there?
Yeah.
It wasn't at the final. It was there.
Yeah. Well, it was good. It was good. Like, and we got to see the behind the scenes stuff and sit in the chairs of the countries. Got to do that and all. Like that was good. But that's like the type of thing that I do whenever I'm doing TikTok ambassador stuff. It's usually the events or things that they're hosting or sponsoring, and I'll have their different people that they know and trust come in and represent them doing them.
Yeah. I thought you were about to ask her there. Could she get phone
Sure,
up someone on
can you
TikTok? Phone up someone on TikTok and throw us a. We're stuck at like 92k or something. We're like, where's the 100k?
Well, I do recommend if you ever get the chance to speak to anybody from TikTok that you do, like, because it's good to have that kind of the same way of networking. Do you know what I mean? Like, do that, like, because a lot of the things that I've sort of progressed into has been because I'm just speaking to everybody and just trying to be friends with everybody.
Yeah.
So it has.
Yeah.
Be mates.
And you were saying even like you've sort of noticed a bit of a opportunity within like the YouTube side of things to like for the short form content and whatnot.
Yeah, it was really random. Like obviously, you know, Joel the magician, so he works closely with YouTube probably the same way I would with TikTok, and I think he was like co-hosting this event with YouTube themselves, and I went there and I was actually like really intent on asking questions because YouTube it's like so similar in a different way to TikTok. Like it's a similar platform making videos and stuff. So I wanted to ask people who actually do it, like, how much do you make on shorts, how much do you make on longs, what do you do with editing, like how do you do the editing, or asking the YouTube people what would you recommend at this point if you're jumping in here now. Like I'm not making videos 5 years ago whenever it was maybe easier to get into. What would you recommend me doing? And they were like, just upload, like even all your TikToks, get them all up on shorts, just schedule them all and get them all up. So it's something that I'm gonna try and stay on top of. Yeah. On top of the other stuff.
But in terms of like if someone, obviously for people listening now, like if they're in, you know, if they're trying to build like a TikTok following or trying to like take it to that sort of like a level that you've taken it to where you're getting opportunities like presenting or, you know, brands or something reaching out to you, like what is the best sort of way to navigate that? Do you find even pre you having a manager, because you do see a lot of companies now coming out and saying, oh, we can, they almost like absorb smaller creators with the hope that they'll keep building up. But like what is the sort of best way to navigate that to
Well, if you want to do it as a job, I think the number one thing you have to remember is all of your content is your CV. Would you put on, like, last week you went and you did 10 shots, so that's something to put in your CV? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's a really random analogy, like, but just whenever you're making content, keep in mind that this is what brands are going to see. So if you want them to work with you, you have to be thinking, what type of brands do I want to work with, and make content that almost sells you to them before they even come across you. Like, you've already got like a reputation of getting the views and getting the things with the exact type of content that they would want anyway. So just keeping that in mind if you want to do it as a job. And then to build your audience itself, you do need to upload like a fair decent amount at the start, I'd say, because people are just getting to know you. You need to have that conversation with them and show them what it is that you're doing online to get them sort of hooked on your style and the things that you do, and sort of just be consistent with that. But I would say, like, it still is easy to grow on TikTok. Like, it hasn't went away type thing. You just need to be even trying new things. Like, I think I've found myself that I've sort of assumed that's the type of video that does well, and I've almost swayed away from trying new things just because I'm sticking with what I know. But like, I've got all these ideas and like, oh, I don't know if I could do that, that's a bit different and stuff. But it was like the car one, that was like one that I just randomly tried. It wasn't like a talking video, it wasn't a prank or nothing, and it did really, really well, despite the comments taking the complete piss out of my hand. It did really well. So yeah, just keep at it, like, because it's a good job. Is that like the first time in a while where you've like the whole, we're back to like the car video again, is that the first time in a while where you've had that sort of content being put out and the comments and stuff have been like, I was pulled down like from like heaven. I was like living blissfully, like unaware of the fact that my hand used to be an issue, because it never, in the past year or so, it had just been so nice. Everybody was just being so nice. People expected to see my hand. Like, I'd been out there in viral videos, so it's like not something that was really surprising to see. And then all of a sudden I reached this new audience, and it was new to them. They didn't know how to react. And even different platforms. It was mainly on Instagram that the bad comments were, I think if I can remember correctly. So it really did brought me back down to earth so fast, and I was really low actually for a day or two. I was just feeling really crap, like so embarrassed about my hand again, and I hadn't felt that in so long, and even embarrassed for my boyfriend as well. Like, I can't even express to you, I used to find it so uncomfortable ever having to address the hand situation with dating with boys, with men, because you just feel so unattractive as well. And seeing what these men were saying about my hand, I was just like, oh my god, I wonder if this is going to make my boyfriend look at me in a different way, that I don't want him to look at me. And I actually haven't even said this to him. I'm like, therapy session here, like unloading. But I was so embarrassed, and it completely reminded me that there are still things like that out there. I still have to redeem myself, almost like I still have to educate, and there's still going to be other people who'll face the same thing, and it frustrates the life out of me. So it does.
Do you feel like there is still an element where people are like curious to find out like more, or do you still find that people, you know, if say they see you, like they meet you for the first time and they maybe like notice your hand and stuff, they don't want to like address it? Do you still feel like that's a kind of stigma that needs to be?
I think that the only scenarios I've been in, and this is as somebody who a lot of people already know my hand and things, actually usually know my hand before my name type scenario. It's either they know me, they know my hand, they're just like, what's going on? They're asking me questions about things that I've never met them before, but they know it from my content, so I don't have to address anything, and neither do they. Or it's like a person who knows me but is being like inappropriate with my hand type thing, like asking me, can I get a photo with you? Oh, get your hand in it, grabs my wrist, puts it up to the camera as if my hand's going to smile and say cheese, like that type of scenario. And that's just like, oh my god, I'm clearly not doing content well enough to tell you that is not okay. But I haven't really had the elephant in the room scenario in a while. It's been nice that I don't have to think that type thing. Like, I just assume if somebody's staring at me, it's like, oh, you know me from TikTok.
That's weird that someone like does that actually happen? Does that happen?
Yep.
Oh my god.
And
how do you address that?
I haven't, because I don't want to be a dick. Do you know what I mean? I still have that like in my mind that if somebody, obviously they're clearly in some way, shape or form a fan of some shape, because they recognize me, they want a photo with me, they must like my content. So I don't want anybody to go in and be like, oh, I met Sasha off TikTok, oh, I met her, she's an absolute bitch, like she was just so rude to me and she told me off. And it's like, imagine getting on like that. I don't want that to be my impression. To an extent I probably should be look, I'm not getting my hand in the
Yeah.
like there are people that meet and they'll look at my hand and they'll go, oh, I know you, and that's dead on. That's like, I don't really mind that. I've used this as something to recognize me for, so I can't complain about it when it actually happens.
Yeah.
But the photo thing is a bit,
Yeah.
please don't do that.
I feel like in general, like most, like if I ever one of you rocked up and was like, I was walking down the street there and I met that girl in Sasha. She didn't take a selfie with me, and I thought, what an asshole. I tried to get her hand in it and she said no. I'd be like, you're a dick. Like, why would you do that?
But people don't tell their stories that way. They make themselves the victim in their stories all the time. So it's just, I don't know. It doesn't really bother me that much, to be honest. Like I'm used to everything. I've heard everything under the sun, and I've been through everything under the sun before. I was even on TikTok and stuff. I have dealt with so many. I'm from West Belfast, and it can be quite a brutal place to grow up sometimes. Getting jumped for no reason, and people saying things to you, grabbing your hand at a bus stop, playing like a trumpet, like the most random things have always happened to me. So I've got this is why I think I might actually be so good at presenting and stuff, because throw anything my way, it's not really going to shake me. Like I'm almost like numb to stuff like that happening. I just keep the ball rolling and keep going with things, and it's just kind of been that.
Yeah. It's madness even, like, to think that even before you did, because obviously I think there is an element of whenever people come on social media, even we notice ourselves, like you're opening yourself up to like get them comments and stuff, but I could never imagine someone actually doing something in person, if that makes sense, because I think when someone else is hiding behind a screen, it's a lot more easier to process. Like we've had this chat over the past couple of days, because we posted a clip of like something, a conspiracy theory, and Aaron, you were saying to me, like it was probably one of the first clips that you were in, and people were commenting, being like, "You're a knob, you're a dick," and I was just like, "Yeah, listen, like
This is
get used to it.
This happens." Like, do you know what I mean? But like, I could never imagine, like, you know, even growing up or whatever, that was someone would even say something like that. And I suppose that's probably one of the things that you probably not enjoy, but like bringing a bit of like highlight to that behaviour is not acceptable.
And plus, whenever I was younger, there wasn't really a social media to hide behind. It was what you said in person, and people were like, even from now and 5 years ago, there's things that people just know not to say anymore that they wouldn't have known not to say 5 years ago, and the world has sort of changed. But like, even then, I know for a fact there are still people out there that they're just ignorant bastards, and there's nothing you can do about them, and you can try and make as many educational videos as much as you want and increase representation and be a positive light online, and there's still going to be ignorant bastards. So it's just life.
And how do you find, because the last time you were on, one of the things that you sort of said was that your goal was that you never saw someone on a red carpet, you know, or you never saw someone presenting or on TV, like you never felt yourself like you were represented, if that makes sense. How do you feel that's the way you saw sort of things 70 episodes of Here's the Crack ago? I don't know how long it was, 18 months ago. But now we've been 18 months on. What are some of the things that you've noticed which are like, this is going in a good direction? Have you noticed anything where it's positive? Or
well, I think the really good way to measure, for me to measure how I'm doing in that area, is whether I have people coming in my DMs who are parents saying, I'm so happy that you're doing this, and that my child, who has the same hand as you, is going to grow up with somebody like you. Like, I show them your content all the time, and like, it's like the biggest compliment from mums. Mums literally message you, a wee mummy, and she's like so worried about her daughter, and then she says that you are helping her. You're helping both the mum and the daughter, or the son, or whoever else, deal with this thing that's just been, because a lot of people are just born like this, and they never knew until they were literally born, and all of a sudden it's like, you've just give birth, and it's like, why is my baby missing a hand? Like, what's happening here? And it's just like this massive shock and in the unknown. Will they be able to drive? Will they be able to be an actress? Will they be able to do all these things? There's all these questions, and in doing those things and being on the red carpet now and presenting now and doing TV, everything has just been so good to have people that are actually in it, like not people who are watching the content or just like on my page, but people who are actually getting something like bigger. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just, it has a measurable difference, like makes a measurable difference into somebody's life. Like, I'm actually making a difference in somebody's life. That's how I know I'm doing my job well. Do
you think like society has become more accepting of things like that
on the surface?
With like allowing people with like disabilities and stuff to like get into movies and things? Because I would say personally, I have noticed it quite a bit in the past few
Yeah,
years.
but I think it is sort of on the surface rather than addressing the deeper problems.
Yeah.
Underneath.
What do you mean when you say that though? Like on the surface?
I think that tokenism is a huge thing, and everybody's
Yeah.
wanting to jump on and show that they're so inclusive, when in reality they're literally just doing it so that they can say they're inclusive rather than to
Yeah.
actually practice what they preach. For example, Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, they took
Yes.
out the Seven Dwarfs. You put 7 people who were born with dwarfism out of the opportunity of a lifetime
Yeah.
because you want to be more inclusive. Does that sound more inclusive?
Counterintuitive, like
Things like that. Like, it just, they're almost so cautious of being diverse and inclusive that they're actually being the opposite. And it annoys me. I hate to see whenever people think that that's, because I know firsthand what the things are that I would want to see, people with disabilities want to see. But why is nobody asking us? Why are people just why are these people who have no idea what it's like to live with dwarfism or to live with one hand or albinism or anything that makes you look different?
Yeah.
Why are people without those things making decisions about what those people want to see or how they want to be represented? Nobody spoke to me. Nobody spoke to them because they've done the wrong thing.
Do you have you had experience like that yourself though, like when working with brands, like you're obviously a bad example there with someone asking you for a photo, but do you get sort of maybe a more timid bit of that where like the brand's like, oh, can you like get your hand on that, or do you know what I mean?
Yes, so a perfect example, right? There's been 2 completely different experiences in 2 completely different ad campaigns. One told me they wanted to work with me. I was like, great, we'll work together, I like your stuff. And they give me the full brief of what they thought I should do in the video, how it should include my hand, and it was completely wrong. Completely. Like, it was completely, what do you call it, deaf? Is that how you would say it? Tone deaf? It was tone deaf to the issue. And then I had another campaign where they says, this is what we want to do. We want to try and make it around your hand. What do you suggest? And then I says, okay, I'm comfortable with that. Give some suggestions. They said, that's great. Can you include this or that? And I says, yeah, actually, that would be really good on my platform. So then I did that. That campaign won an award last week. The other campaign flopped.
Yeah.
So just ask us. Like, I think that in terms of even creators themselves, brands are sometimes too quick to jump ahead and tell you what to do, that they're forgetting about the fact that you do this for a living day in, day out, and they should be asking you, what do you think we should do? How would you incorporate this product or this brand into a video? Give us ideas, and then work together in a collaborative way rather than preaching to the influencer what they should be doing. And it's the same with normal influencers, with everybody.
I suppose, like, if you are, because that is, I agree with you, like from a marketing or like a brand perspective, a lot of people, that's the one thing that's on like people's agendas. It's like, we need to look more inclusive, we need to look more diverse. But I almost think that they're so focused on that side, they don't know how to approach, like, because at the end of the day they want to show how they're diverse, but they don't know actually how to approach
The diversity aspect.
Like the likes of yourself, if you know, someone had like a fashion campaign or something on, and they're like, we want to include India because she's a good example of like representation, and other people can look at that and go, oh, we feel included. Yeah. Which is along the right lines, but they probably don't know how to, you know, approach you, because they think we're going to offend, like almost think we're going to offend you in a way, because it's like we need you because of your hand, basically. Yeah. Which is
see, it's a give and a take scenario, because like I am happy that I am able to finally use my hand to get me something rather than it's making me miss out on something. So in that way, like it's a good thing for me that I'm getting these opportunities that I wouldn't have before. But like, it's hard to address that. Like, I'm not easily offended myself. I know most people with disabilities are actually not easily offended. It's usually other people offended on their behalf. It's not actually the people themselves. So if somebody was literally thinking about doing a campaign and they were like, oh, we want to increase our diversity in using her, and she's obviously using a lot of representation online, I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I think that's starting something. And while I'm there, like, ask me a question. How do you think we could do this? Like, I can speak as well as like do other things. So I think the number one thing I think that's happening right now is that people aren't speaking to the people that they're trying to represent and include and be diverse for. They're just doing things so that they're not one of those brands that's getting cancelled for not doing it.
They're represented, they're probably just not being represented properly in the way they should be.
Quality representation is more important than quantity.
And you've been doing some work with charities and stuff. I know that was something that we'd sort of discussed. But what can you sort of go into a bit of?
So
Detail
there's
on
sort
that.
of like two things coming up. The number one thing is I've worked with this charity called Reach, and it helps children and families with upper limb disabilities. And that was the charity that really helped my family, because whenever I was born, mummy didn't know. I just kind of came out. She was shook, to say the least. And then there was no information. So she had to look around, ask. There was no, I don't know if there was internet actually. Was there internet in 2000? Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
wasn't very accessible though.
So she probably looked it on the
Dial-up.
internet or something, found this charity, and they were like a beam of light of information and giving us information about what I can and can't do. And actually, the can't do's is probably a very, very, very short list, and to give advice and stuff. So as I've got this platform, I've wanted to try and help and do stuff with Reach, because they're helping so many other families and stuff. So next weekend, I'm heading over to where is it? Newcastle. Yes, Newcastle, for their family weekend. And do you know Alex Brooker off, is it 2.5 Legs? What do you call that TV show?
Oh yeah,
The
I know
last
that, I know
leg.
The Last
Last
Leg,
Leg, yeah.
2.5 Legs. Am I thinking 8.5 Cats or something?
2.5 men.
2.5, I don't know. Yeah, so he's going as well.
Yeah.
There's a couple of other people who are on TV and doing things like that, who are going to the family weekend just to kind of speak to families and just be like a positive thing about having a disability. Like, it's not all negative. Like, I get free drinks and shit. Like, it's good. Like, it can be fun. Have fun with it, and life's not miserable and stuff. So I'm going to that next weekend. So if there's ever any like kids or families out there that haven't discovered Reach, it's a really good charity for that. And then I'm also raising money in an event next year. I'm hosting my first event. Like,
Wow.
I'm doing, and I'm presenting as well.
Oh,
To raise money for Reach next year. My mummy's running on the marathon, so we're going to use that to combine the event, try and raise money for them. And yeah, I don't have to run the marathon, so I'm happy enough to go to the event, host, and have a drink.
You're doing the half marathon, aren't you?
I am, yeah. Next
Good luck.
Sunday.
Is that your first, like,
Yeah.
nice?
Yeah, first half marathon. I did a 10k in July, and it was absolutely awful until I got over the finish line. I was like, oh, I want to do that again. And it was just this rush. Like, it was, I felt runners high. I burst out crying and all. It was absolutely intense. But it was
That's
really
not
good.
one you said. Have you done
What?
you don't know half
You s-
marathon.
yeah.
Did
But
ya?
after it, you were like, I never.
it? He said the opposite.
How long were you training for yours?
It's about 12.
You said you rushed it though, didn't you?
I trained for about
Yeah.
12 to 8 to 12 weeks, but
Yeah.
like whenever I say train, I just spent 8 to 12 weeks running. But like, I was a dick. Like, before, like 4 days before it, I went. Me and the fellow that was doing it went, let's go out and do a half marathon to prove that we can do it. So when the day comes, we know.
Oh.
So it's just little things like that. When you look back, you're like, but like I had said, I want to do it in like less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
And like, I was a bear whenever I got, because I thought I'd cocked it up. Like, I took a real like low energy, like about, because we did Antrim Coast half marathon. You kind of run downhill and then run back uphill again.
Yeah.
And as I was running back uphill, I'd exhausted my gels and just was caked, like.
Yeah.
And then I turned around, and as well as that, the water, like, it was probably the one day in the past like 6 months that had actually been warm. It was boiling.
Yeah.
Because we went to Mallorca like 2 days later, and my shoulders were like burnt.
Already.
Yeah.
From Antrim.
So like literally, it was Lauren too. So it was like terrible. You ran out of Lauren, and then the most depressing thing was you turned and had to run back into Lauren again. So I was like, oh god,
Yeah.
no. But yeah, it was good. I said I was going to do it in sub 2 hours. Did it 1 hour 59:42.
Here.
So 18 seconds.
Yeah.
But like, whenever I ran through, I looked up at the thing and it was like 2 hours 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So I thought and like, to be fair, me and him have talked about doing the full marathon. And like, I said to him, I was like, if we do it, we're not like timing ourselves.
Here.
Yeah.
It's
Because
not
like,
far
it
away.
is.
See, the thing is, like, are you competitive at all?
Yeah.
See, I'm the same. Like, when I did the 10k, I was like, I literally ran like 3 times before
Yeah.
that, and they were all 5ks, 3 5ks,
Yeah.
like 2 weeks before the 10k. And I was like, I have to get below an hour. And I did. I got like 57 minutes or something
really
on the
good.
10k. And then this half marathon, I've been thinking, right, I've been running a wee bit more. I think the most I've ran so far to this day, even though I've got a half marathon on Sunday, is 12k. That is
That's okay though.
do you think so?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. The on the day, oh, you do it. It's Belfast,
No, Manchester.
Manchester. Oh, it's great. Apparently, like the Manchester
I
Marathon's
think it's
unreal.
really flat.
Yeah.
It's like no
It's-
down and up.
yeah.
It's flat like.
But you'll get like a runner's high on the day. Like
I
the
hope so.
adrenaline will see
I
you
haven't
through.
tried
like.
doing jails yet, because apparently when some people take jails, it makes them shit themselves.
Yeah, but you need to.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
need
shit
to,
himself.
You need to take.
Did you shit
No. You need to take. You need to take.
That's
the
when he
gels.
lost all the energy.
Like that. I think you need to take the gels as part of your training. See, I didn't have a problem with gels because I've cycled for ages, so I always took the gels.
So you were basically, you already had fitness.
Well, yeah, I could.
So-
I would say.
You're a fraud.
Yeah, I had some
No,
fitness.
I'm fucked. I am fucked. I wanted to get it. I wanted to aim for 2:15 and below.
That's good.
I wanted to aim for that.
That's like 6 minute kilometers. That's,
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That's quick.
But that's like
Just
what
don't
I
do what
stop.
I did, because on the half one, was it the half one? I did 2-3 legs at we did the relay of the Belfast Marathon before that. That's
Yeah.
That's why we decided we wanted to do the half.
Yeah.
Because we did the relay, and then bunch of people dropped out. So we then ended up doing like three lengths of the relay, me and this other fella.
Yeah.
But then there was a stage where like I think we'd got just past like stage 3. It was the final bit. And we had like 3 miles left to run. I think we ran in total like 12 miles. I was done.
Yeah.
And I was running away, and next minute flipping, this guy came past me dressed as like a Ninja Turtle.
And he got all the glory.
He came flying past me, and I went, no chance that bastard passing me. So then I took off, and then I was caked. But then what you had to remember was they were doing relays.
Yeah.
So I just passed where he started. So
Yeah.
he came sprinting past me, and I went, but in my head he'd started where I'd started, and
Yeah.
I went, I'm a fraud. Yeah. Michelangelo has just passed me. What am I doing? Like, I think you'd be fine.
Yeah.
You're grand. Just take your
We'll
gels.
find out this weekend.
Take your gels though.
Yeah.
Like just like to practice.
I'll
like,
try. I'll
yeah.
take one in the
Practice,
gym.
Yeah.
But I've heard that it's really like thick, gloopy.
I've never.
There's
had
some that are like high five gels are quite watery.
Yeah.
They're quite good.
Okay.
And then there is gels that you can get which are specifically for like not so you don't shit yourself.
Okay.
So look into them.
See if I take the high five gels and I shit myself. I'll be leaving you.
I'll be getting a voice message. It's like the parallel parking was a disaster, but the Manchester half marathon
Was a shit show.
literally. But you'll be fine. Be grand.
Okay.
And then you'll and then you'll do the full marathon, and it'll be great.
Yeah.
Like
well,
afterwards, you'll want to do the full marathon.
we'll see. We'll see. I
You
think
do it with us.
just-
We're in deep training.
Oh god.
Are you right now?
No.
Yeah, no.
You
These
should.
two said last year, we'll do it. And they looked at each other dead in the eye and said, we're going to do this. And I looked at both of them and said, you aren't going to do this.
If I'm
We
back
can
Lost
still
might
here
do
do
it.
it.
We can
You're
still
definitely
do
not
it.
doing it.
I'll do it.
Oh, it's on the 5th of May.
by episode 210, when I come back here, obviously
Let's do it.
in 70,
It's on
you
the
better run.
It's on the 5th of May. It's like 2 months before your wedding, so you'll be in the prime.
That's it. Eh?
You'll be in prime
Easy.
condition to get married and everything. Like,
It'll
be so
it'll
thin.
die in the marathon.
Yeah.
It'll be your fault. That's a good place to end. We'll link the charities you mentioned in the
Perfect.
bio, and if you can contribute, that'd be great. And best of luck with everything. Best
Thank
of luck
you so
on
much.
Sunday.
Yes.
Thanks for coming in. Sorry for
we're
pestering you. on the messages.
looking forward to welcoming you back in episode 210, where we can
I
catch up
can't
even
wait.
more.
I know. I hope I have more tea for you.
Tommy's like, we need to wrap up here because I need to find out who this boy was that was into you.
I actually forgot about that.
But anyway, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank
Until
you.
next time.